I believe in persistence, so I'm not an easy loser. I don't lose easily. I prefer to keep trying until I get what I want and or what I aspire for, or what I believe is what should happen. So I think that's mainly it. Being very persistent. I try and try and try, and I don't mind failing. I tried to join Google 5 times. Three of them were serious trials, and I was every time I was getting interviewed, and then I was getting more keen to get into the company until even I think the second or third time when I was rejected, I said I'm going to pass interviews and then decide whether or not. But I have to pass the interviews. So persistence would be my like the one thing I think positively of when it comes to my personality and how I look at it. Maybe some of it came from my mom because my mom is kind of like that. She's very stubborn and persistent in getting what she wants, and I believe that played a big role. And I think I was always in a competitive environment wherever I was that forced me into feeling that I have to keep excelling and I have to do beyond what I can. And this was mainly one of the main drivers. I actually loved the statement from Google: "Good is not great is not good enough." So I was always thinking this is a nice life motto that you've always have to keep going further and fighting for it, even if you fail one time. You have to keep trying, and just went through. I guess from the university time, it was getting it was getting more shaped than just being an attitude at home. It's a tough way. I think at the very first beginning, especially right after Mubarak left, it was more of a euphoria that everyone thought, okay, the source of the problem is gone. Obviously, thinking that was not the case, because the problem is not actually in people. The problem is in the system, or how the dynamics of how the country operates, and therefore it's a big challenge. It's a long way. We've been going through a lot of challenges, and sometimes we succeed and other times we fail. What I've came to learn is that it's going to be a journey, long one and tough one. We have to keep progressing and making sure that we're heading towards the right direction, and at the same time celebrate our smalls. Any success that happens we should celebrate, and also any failure we should learn from and adapt to. And I believe this is the current spirit. The situation in Egypt is not as much as we have aspired to see, yet we are on a highway, and we're sort of getting still getting trying to figure out how to reach the end of the tunnel, as they say. I believe that the nature of the social media makes the idea of having a leader who leads people kind of obsolete in a sense, because social media is basically more about empowering individuals. So the idea is how to empower, not how to lead, not how to tell people what should happen. It's more of how to tell people that, listen, you should have aspirations, or if you have, you should believe in them, and you should be able to find others who are very share the common ground with you, who would be very interested in pursuing what these aspirations or passion, and make it into reality. So I've pretty much learned throughout the whole experience is empowering people is more than kind of leading them or finding having a flag, and this is why I truly believe that this revolution had no leader, and I believe that it was more of a collective effort, and it should remain like that, because once there is a leader, he becomes the source of wisdom. He or she is the one that tells people what happened, and then you go through the whole cycle once again. Okay. So one is definitely empowerment, and the second one is more of a personal lesson learned, which is I think it's one of the tough things when you become exposed to public opinion. Before I was anonymous, gives you a lot of freedom, ability to tell people what you really think, because people don't know who you are. But one drawback is that when you become under the microscope of public opinion, you end up worrying too much about what people think. And I was just thinking yesterday, when I want to look at the mirror, I want to see someone who's myself, who's me, not someone who represents what people want to hear. And I believe there is a famous American, I'm not sure, probably Malcolm X, who probably said the same thing, that I got it from him, that I want to wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and find that the one I'm looking at is myself, not anyone else who is basically taking or giving people the impression of what they want to hear. And the third is, I believe also, is that the idea of short-term change is kind of mission impossible. Real change takes time, and especially if it's change in culture, if it's change in processes, if it's change in organizations, if it's change in mentalities, and therefore patience is definitely one of the biggest lessons learned for me. And being patient and while being persistent, knowing what you want, and at the same time understand that it takes time and it's not going to just happen. I believe that now with more and more people getting connected, and more people are able to use social tools, and able to voice their concerns, issues, dreams, and everything, we should be really concerned about empowerment. How can we, not concerned, I mean focusing on empowerment. How can we make sure that such a tool is used for empowerment, rather than, because it could be, definitely internet is kind of a double-edged sword, and we've seen examples in the world where, just like how you can use it for the good, you can also use it for the bad, just like pretty much every other tool. And the fact is, how can we scientifically collect all of this the treasure of brains, the collective effort of people brains together into solving world problems. And I feel that the number one most important thing is engagement and empowerment, making people to become part of a solution rather than part of a problem. So I personally have a big ambition of working on, the more the world is connected, the more people come into the internet, the more they use the internet more frequently, and the more they use it more frequently and more in sort of more useful way, when it comes to health, education, and fighting poverty, finding finding jobs, solving world problems such as energy and so on, and increasing tolerance among citizens of the world, so that they understand that peace is essential for everyone else. All of this is very will be on my top of agenda personally. Mainly not because I think this is the most important thing in the world, but because this is from my own personal scope. This is what I know, and this is what I think I can add value in.